Hello everyone, welcome back to one of these silly little videos where I just do another tier list. I was recommended this time to do a tad bit different, which is where I do it with well above expectations, in line with, below, and well, we'll get to this here in just a bit. Decided to do it this way because otherwise it's quite predictable, everyone knows where everyone was. This allows me to express my opinions a bit more on how everything went. So we're going to go team by team, as you can see down here, player by player, and we'll see how it goes. But for now, we're going to start off with big, large Saturday. I think the right way to go would be something like this. Saturday already, I don't know if we're going to have any other well above expectations players, because not really a player I can think of right now that went that much better than I expected. But Saturday's definitely one of them with the psycho attempt that he scored. Yes, it was 2 bounces, but still, to do that on LAN is absolutely insane. Picky, Jamie and Large Ryan also making it above expectations on the basis that they were last seed. Big Large Saturday, the team wasn't expected to win a series, and yet they did manage to take down the seed above them, and did it quite well. Unfortunately, there's not much else I can say about this team, because I have not actually, I haven't seen much of them. I didn't get to see much of them throughout the day, and yeah, it's just a tad annoying. I'm gonna make my face cam a bit bigger there. There we go. Just so you can see this ugly mug, because I don't know. There's not much else to look at. I can't be arsed editing all the Twitch streaming, so I'll do that later. I'll do another video where I go over my thoughts and all that on how we played, but that's a separate video entirely. So yeah, didn't get to see the team much, but from what I did see, like Saturday goes for psycho attempt, everyone starts screaming, then pure silence because I'm not sure if Zoe's gonna save her or not, and then screaming again once it just bounces in. But that's all you really got to see of them. So they did get a series win. They deserve to all be where they are, I believe. But yeah, we might as well move on to 1 billion or Kamehameha. I'm going to start with Zoe. Going to single her out for a second. I'm going to throw into above expectations. And that's on the basis that, I don't think anyone knew what was going to come from her. She played, she played very solid throughout today. Especially as the lowest ranked player and as a LAN rookie. There was a lot of times in her series versus RLGC where she was getting very good 50s on the likes of D-Lynch, Grady, Magic, made some great saves, and obviously did come up clutch with a goal as well when needed. And overall, played quite well, in line with what I would have expected of them. These probably won't be too much in order. If there's one where I feel like someone's only slightly in a certain tier, then I'll put them at the top or the bottom. But we'll deal with that when it comes to it. 2 players that'll be in line with expectations is Waffle and Mayday. I do think you could argue that they are the bottom of this tier, on the basis that they did not win a series when they're expected to win at least one, but at the same time they did play RLGC very close, and that is very much down to Waffle and Mayday. Waffle scoring some very good double taps, Mayday making some great saves, so he played quite well as well. But Mayday and Waffle, they are showing that they do have the quality, they do have what it takes. And it feels unfair to put them below expectations, even if they did not win a series. They, again, played RGC close, so I do believe they deserve this nomination. I say nomination as if it's a prize. You're not getting anything for this, lads, but as much as I like hating on Mayday, slagging him in general, he did play well on the day. Very well defensively, especially. I was praising him during the series against D-Lynch. I was casting that one. Some very, very good defensive efforts from him. Some double commits from Waffle and Mayday with each other, and Mayday obviously bumping out Zoe to make that save, but they will get the praise where they're due. Anyways, I'm just going to keep on glitching out because I'm just making sure in the background everything actually looks well. So it's going to, do that again. But well, usual cope, won't he? Anyways, we are going to move on to Dano, Jakey, Zexel. I'm going to start by putting Dano in the above expectations. We'll knock him towards the top. He didn't play well last time. We'll be blunt. Didn't get a single win, which involved a reverse sweep to CK and Dano. Or Dano? Yeah, he swept himself. Daniel. Sorry. Yes, Red Boy didn't play great in it, but neither did he. It does have to be said. This time around, played very, very well. Strongest player in his team by far. he faked me out, completely sent me to shops in game 1 of our series versus him, of our best of 5 versus him, because we played him twice throughout today. And generally speaking, quite a good player. It's impressed me a lot. Didn't help either. I tried getting into his head the series beforehand. Sorry, in the series beforehand? No, it was before the series. Sorry, I'm getting completely confused. I was like, oh, Dano, it's on stream, by the way. Just trying to like go like, oh yeah, pressure's on. He did not care at all. That fella just egoed me on the stream and all. So he deserves to be in the above expectations tier. Zexal, I'm going to put in line with expectations on the basis that I went in thinking he was going to be the best player on their team, and he, to an extent, was. I do think Dano was the best player on their team, but I think that's this. Bloody stuttering over my own words here. I do think that's because Dano excelled on the day. He played much better than I think what anyone would have expected of him. Zexal still played great, but it was Dano who stepped up, I suppose, when they needed it. Put a lot of pressure on us, but overall, again, it's what I expected of Zexal. He was always going to be the problematic one, getting some good demos, just knocking the ball into awkward positions, which worked at times. They didn't get a lot of great chances against us, but when they got those chances, they did take them, and I do think that was all down to Zexal just putting them in those positions. I'm going to put someone below expectations finally, and I'm going to bite the bullet. I'm probably going to get some hate for it because someone's going to find one of the clips from the game we played and go like, oh, what's this, Nova? Where Jakey probably sends me or scores a great goal or something like that. But generally speaking, I noticed Zex on the pitch. I definitely noticed Dan on the pitch. There wasn't really a time I noticed Jakey on the pitch, and for a LAN veteran and all the hype I was being told beforehand, I just didn't really notice him. Which is the unfortunate side of things. That will sound harsh, but there's going to have to be someone that I have to be harsh about in this list, and it's going to start off with Jakey. Didn't play terrible today, just I was expecting more of him when watching him, and playing against him, I suppose, is the best way of putting it. So we're going to move on to RLTC now, and I'm going to put them all into below expectations, which none of them will like, but my reasoning for it, I guess, despite them going 1-2 Swiss, they can say all they want they played close against us, they can say all they want they played well enough against what time is the 3v3 starting at, which is a great name, but anyways, didn't take a game in either series. Furthermore, they told me constantly beforehand they are not going to they're not going to punch down. They are going to be punching up the whole time, and in the end that's just not what happened. They ended up struggling quite a bit against a team 2 seeds lower than them, in the sense of Waffle, Mayday and Zoe, and overall I cannot put any of them higher on the basis that despite claiming all they were going to do is punch up, they didn't take a single game against a team above them, and they dropped games to teams below them, made some games they should have been sweeping with their quality very, very close. So, look, they didn't play terrible today, but it wasn't the level that they could have and probably should have been playing at. So, we'll leave it there. That's a thing that goes for all 3 of them. Next up, we have what time is the 3v3 starting at? Eddie, Nathan, Cookie. And this one I've been contemplating a while. I was thinking about it a lot on the train and the bus ride home, where I'd put these 3. Because unfortunately I didn't get to see them much. The only series I got to see them was the semi-final that they had against Team Ireland, in which they did lose 3-2 unfortunately, because any other time they were playing, we were either A, playing at the same time as them, like we completely mirrored them, won our first series, lost our second, won our third, lost our upper bracket quarters, won our lower bracket quarters, lost our semi-finals. And the one time they were playing at a different time of us, which was our round 3 match, I went outside to get air, because I was like, I'm playing muck, I need something to try and help me cop on. It didn't work. I was trying anything at that point. So I only got 1 series, so I'm going to be told I'm wrong on this. I'm expecting I'm going to be told I'm wrong on this. But I'm going to put Eddie and Nathan into above expectations, and I'm going to put Cookie in line with expectations. And my reason for this is, number 1, I feel like Eddie and Nathan were causing much more problems for Team Ireland than Cookie was. Nathan especially, his demo plays were absolutely insane. Their best opportunities were coming when Nathan was getting a demo on last man or forcing like there was a time where he has another free touch on the ball and he just drives past the ball and chases little dude into net. And I can't remember if it was Eddie or Cookie was free to follow it up, but one of them was there. The only mistake I can remember Eddie making that was like a big mistake was the goal they conceded in 0 seconds. I did think he could play the air dribble off the backboard a bit better, but I don't think I have the quality to speak, because I probably would have done the exact same thing. And it's so easy to criticize a player when you're casting, but otherwise played insane. The only reason I have Cookie in line with expectations rather than above expectations is on the basis that I felt like a lot of the goals they did concede ended up being his fault slightly. It's not because I'm an RLI staff member and I have to hate him. No, I do promise you. It is quite simply because there's a lot of time, you know, he was, you know, like the ball would be going to Eddie and he'd decide to take it himself rather than leaving the ball for Eddie. Or he'd be forcing double commits, something like that. And like those 50s where he's taking the ball away from Eddie to 50 a player, half of them would end up 50ing into his own net, and for most of them, Eddie had a better 50. If he leaves it for Eddie, Eddie gets a 50, the goal doesn't go in. Or at least it's less likely to go in from the position Eddie's playing. And I feel like that definitely cost them. I feel like if Cookie just leaves those for Eddie, I think there's quite a good chance they end up winning that series. At least they take game 2. Is it game 2? I can't remember. I need to watch it all back properly. These are only my initial opinions, and I feel like it's better to get them while they're fresh than wait up until it's been like 2 or 3 weeks like I did last time. So we're just going to stick with that. But I do believe that Cookie was the weak link in that semi-final. Again, I only got to see the semi-final, so it's definitely going to be a bit biased. It's not going to be an accurate representation of how they actually played, but it's unfortunate because that's just how it went. Unfortunately, I can only see so much, but all the same, they still played quite well. So yeah, now we're gonna move on to us, and I'm not gonna talk too much about how I played because I'm gonna make another one where I actually go on how I feel like the whole day went for us. But it's definitely the worst player in the terms of how I expected to play. I was expecting myself to play great. I feel like there was a lot of players that were, you know, backing me going into LAN. You know, Lama was, Tomster was, Shallow was to an extent, and I just feel like I played muck. I played rubbish all of Swiss stage, which was quite disappointing. The only matches I played, like against Lama, Little Dude and Nuss in the upper bracket, I only really played well in game 3 and 4, and by that point we already had to reverse sweep. Against Dano's team, I didn't play well at all. And sure, I feel like I played well against LTX Academy, but what does that matter? We're not beating them even if I play the best Rocket League I ever could. And even then, I made a stupid mistake in game 3, which led to us conceding for them to equalize. So, look, I played poor. I'm using the copium of, I've played 6 LANs, I'm allowed to have 1 bad LAN. But still, I was annoyed with how I played, especially because I did think this was our best shot at making a finals in a 3v3 tournament. But it is what it is. We just have to go again next LAN. Panda and Technio. I'm going to put Panda up here. I do think Panda played quite well. He's best player on the day by far, and especially because I don't think a lot of people rate him as well as he should be rated. He's constantly causing, you know, pressure, constantly causing opportunities for us, or creating opportunities for us rather. And I'm going to put Techie in line with expectations because I do think he was just a tad weaker. People rate him more than Panda. I do think they both play very well. I think they're both better players than I am. And I'm very fortunate to have both of them on my team. But I think Techie was a bit more shaky in certain series in comparison to Panda. They might not have looked as good on the day, and I think that was simply because I do not play as well as I'd usually be expected to. Like, I'm the glue to the team. I'm doing the simple stuff, the defensive stuff. When the defense isn't working, it's all a bit tough. But we're on to our last few here. Lil Dude, Llama, Nuss. I think I'm going to have to put them, and this is going to sound harsh, but I'm going to put them on line with expectations, and the basis to that is that they are, you know, they're expected to come second, you know? There's not much else that they could have done. You know, like, if they get first, it's above expectations. Like, if they get third or fourth, it's well below expectations. They didn't do near good enough. And that's the issue with them. So it's unfortunate. It's tough to put them any higher. Lil Dude played quite well at times. Llama played quite well at times. Nuss played quite well at times. But at the end of the day, second is where they're expected to get. they gave, you know, LTX a good series, but there were still times where they're equally quite weak. They played Cookie, Eddie Nathan much closer than I had to, so I do think Team Ireland is in line with expectations on the basis that that series in the semis shouldn't have been as close as it was, even if they did have quite a good finals. If I'm going to talk about them individually, I think all of them had some very strong moments. Nuss was very good on the demos, but I do think he was quite weak at times on defense. Meanwhile, Lam and Little Dude were, you know, quite good on offense, but then there was times where they were missing open nets, which, look, Lam did a lot last LAN. I calmed it on stream, but Little Dude, on the other hand, I did expect more of. Just make sure again the camera's all good. Yes, it is. So we're gonna see, yep, the loading thing again. Oh well. Lastly, we have LTX Academy. Atto Panda, because he's doing the best cosplay of him. Tomster and Shallow. And I'm not really sure where to put this. I might, you know what I'm going to do? Add tier below, and we're just gonna say champs. I can't even spell right, Jesus Christ. And what's a nice color? We'll make it, we'll just make it, I don't know, grey. There we are. Boring, but we'll put it in here. And the reason for that is because they're expected to win. Anything less would be a failure for them. They're the best team by far. They showed it on the day. I guess you could say above expectations on the basis that, you know, in round 3 of the Swiss, they shut down Little Dude, Lam and Nuss completely. Didn't even give them a goal in the 10 minutes that they played. Yes, it was only 1-0 wins, but still didn't let your opponent score whatsoever over 2 games. And they did similar in the finals. There was a game where they also won 1-0. They are very good at shutting down the next best team. Especially because Little Dude, Lam and Nuss, that's a very strong team on paper offensively. So the fact they were able to shut them down just like that, you cannot put them just in line expectations. They did very well, but at the same time, they're expected to win. So maybe above expectations is a bit much. But for now, that is the list. I think, you know, I like that list. I'm content with that. Most players are in line. A good few that were above. Me, obviously, throwing a bit. And I do believe this is going to be quite controversial because everyone's going to get a different view. That's a great thing about LAN. Not everyone's going to get to see every match. Unless you're like Gib or something like that, you know. That's just there to spectate. Jacko as well, there to cast. But even then, you can't see every moment. Everyone's going to see certain things differently, especially if you're on a team with a certain player, you're playing against a certain player. But that's my list for now. So, hopefully this drives some engagement. And yeah, I think we'll leave it there. So, I've been Nova. You lot have been brilliant. And I hope you all have a wonderful day, evening, afternoon, whenever you're watching this. Have a good one, lads.